Today I'm going to be teaching you how to factory reset your Allen Bradley Point.io system here and get connected to it while using the scroll wheel and getting your cards and Point.io uploaded to your PLC program. So to start things off, you're going to want to get your Point.io wired up here, and the Allen Bradley Point.io here only takes 24 volts to get powered here. If you look here on the side, you can see you got your power supply, your common, and your voltage here. So here I'm just running my common into this terminal and my voltage into this last terminal here. And these are just going into a 24 volt power supply up here. So now that you got wired up and you got your lights going here, you're going to come over to the scroll wheel, and this is what we're going to use to reset everything and set our IP. A lot of times you may see a Point.io on 999, which this is the parameter just to set your boot DHCP and enable it. What we're going to want to do is set this to 888, and this is the parameter to factory reset everything. So you got these two little buttons here, top and bottom here. This is just to navigate through the numbers, and I'm going to set it to 888. And for the parameter to take action and stay, once you've changed the scroll wheel to 888, you're just going to want to power cycle it, and you can do that by just unclipping that and pulling this out here. Wait a couple seconds. Get this back in here. Get that clipped back on here. Got the lights going again. So now that you got it as 888, everything should be set to default here. And this scroll wheel is also used to set your IP. These three numbers here are going to be the last three digits in your IP address. You want to set it anything below 255. So I'm going to go to an open IP here that I know is open on my network. I'm just going to go to 124. So I got it to 124, and for the parameter to take place again, you're going to want to power cycle it. You just do that again by pulling that out, waiting a couple seconds. Get that back on. And now you got your lights flashing again. Now you're going to want to get an Ethernet cord here. Just your typical RJ45 here. You're going to want to plug into this link 1 activity status here. Got the light flashing here. And all I have that connected to is just going into my Ethernet adapter here. You may have an Ethernet port on your computer. I don't, so I'm using this adapter. But all this is doing is just making a connection to your Point.io. And now I'll be bringing you over to my computer screen here. Hooked up to your Point.io through Ethernet into your laptop. You're going to want to come to Network Connections here and go to your Ethernet. And go to Properties. And go down to IPv4, and you're going to want to statically assign your IP address as 192.168.1. And this number can be anything you want. And make sure the subnet mask is correct, 255.255.255. And now you're just going to hit OK, close that. And then you're going to want to type in your IP here, and the last 3 digits here are going to be the last 3 or the digits on your scroll wheel, and I set mine as 124. Okay, so if you did it right, it should bring you to this page here. You're going to want to come over to configuration and network. It's going to ask you for a username and password, and the username is just admin, and the password is password. Sign in. Now here's where you can configure your network interface, and I will configure mine to my network here, and you will set yours to your network. So let me just 203, 2, and 200. Once you've got that done, don't click apply yet. Go over to your scroll wheel and change the number to anything above 255. So I changed mine to 924. Once you're done with that, click apply changes. It should say that everything's saved. You're going to hit OK. And now you're going to want to power cycle your Point.io once again. Okay, got that power cycled here. Now if I come over to a new tab here and try to type in the same IP here, it will not bring you to it. So now that I got the IP changed, I can take my Ethernet and bring it out of my computer and plug it into my switch here on the network. I'm going to come here and type in my new IP. And now it brings me to the same page here. I can come to configuration, my network, see that everything stayed the same. And here on identity, you can update your chassis size to whatever or how many cards you have. Once you've got that, now you're ready to go into your program here. So I'm in Studio 5000 version 35 here, firmware 35, my bad. Now you're going to come down to Ethernet here and go to New Module. And you can look on the side of your Point.io system here. I'm using a 1734 AENTR here. I'm going to hit create. Type in my IP here. Give it a name. And here is where you can change your chassis size here. And sometimes you may run into an issue when you go online. Your Point.io down here, it will have yellow triangles. And that's usually an issue with the revision here. So right now it's set at 6001. Let me just hit OK here. And to check that, you can come into RS Links here. And let me find my Point.io here. You can see here I found it, 192.168.203.124. You're going to want to right click on that and go to Device Properties. And here it will give you all the information you need. As you can see, I'm on revision 6.012. So I'm going to close out of that. Come back into here. It's taking a little bit here. Come over here and change this to 12 and hit OK. So now that we got our Point.io added, we can right click on the Point.io there and click New Module. And this is where you'll be adding your cards. So you can type in any card you have. I'm using 1734 OA4. Click on that and click create. Give it a name. Okay. Close. Once you've got all your cards added after that, you can come over and hit online. Download. And now you can see down here, we are online with our Point.io and our cards. And that is how you hook up to a Allen Bradley Point.io system while factory resetting it with the scroll wheel. Thank you for watching.